10. Slither.io. Fans of the mobile Snake game are in for a big treat with Slither. The browser game basically plays like Snake, except there are other players you have to watch out for. You start off as a cute little worm who makes its way around the large map, collecting power-ups to grow much longer. There are also other worms slinking around the area, and if you bump into one, it's game over. That said, Slither can either be enjoyed as a relaxing experience or maybe something a bit more competitive if you want to bait players into running into you. 9. Agar.io. Another massively multiplayer browser game, Agar emphasizes growth and dominance in the competition. You start off as a small cell representing a petri dish and must go around the map and absorb as many smaller agars and cells to become bigger. Needless to say, there are also several other players roaming the area, and it's up to you to either eat or avoid them. Bigger players can eat others who have smaller players, which will result in a game over. You'll basically be using your mouse to drag your cell around the field, so the controls are easy to learn. Simple, fun, and addicting, Agar is definitely a game for those who love some competition. 8. Shellshockers.io. Shellshockers is a first-person shooter game where you play as an egg that has to kill other eggs using guns. Why these eggs have guns is beyond us, but the game is actually pretty fun. While it doesn't stack up to games like Call of Duty, the sheer simplicity of hiding and shooting makes it a thrilling skill-based game. Your shell will burst open upon death, but you will only need to wait for 5 seconds before you can get back in the fight. Having said that, Shellshockers is definitely worth looking into if you're itching to bust some eggs, or play a shooter game. 7. Bonk.io. In Bonk, you play as a ball and are pit in a series of different stages with 3 other players. While there are different rules per area, the goal remains the same: be the last ball standing. You'll have to be creative with your approach as there are different ways to die. A simple fall could lead to your death, while loose debris will kill you instantly. Aside from trying to stay alive, you should also be trying to push the other balls to their death. Bonk is definitely worth looking into if you have a competitive streak and like playing with others. 6. Survive.io. Survive follows the ongoing Battle Royale craze by bringing the all-out brawl formula to IO. Here, you'll play as one of the many fighters who must be the last man standing. There are various houses and crates you can loot, which mainly comprise of bullets, guns, and healing items. Naturally, you'll be stumbling across other players in the wilderness that will want to kill you. Survive also has a red and play zone, so you can't keep camping in one location with the hopes of being the last survivor. Those who have been on the fence with Fortnite or PUBG can try out Survive for a taste of the Battle Royale experience. 5. Zombies.io. A zombie survival game, Zombies is all about collecting resources by day and staying safe by night. Cut down trees and collect stones to build your fort and create your fortress. You'll have to be quick though, the undead are hungry for gold and flesh, and they come in waves. The zombies will take everything you have by the first night if you aren't prepared, so it's all about strategic planning and resource allocation. 4. Wings.io. Wings is a fast-paced, real-time flight game that pits you against other players. You take control of a jet and fly through the skies while shooting down any enemies you see. It can feel a bit confusing at first, especially since all the action happens so fast, but you will be taking down other jets after a few deaths. Luckily, there are also a few other power-ups floating in the sky, so make sure to grab them and gain some temporary new abilities. 3. Flap.io. Do you remember Flappy Bird? While the game was a major success, the developer pulled it out from the App Store and was shortly replaced by half-baked knockoffs. Flap tries to capture the idea of the original game, and it even uses the same models, but it tries to add a few twists here and there. First off, you'll see the silhouette of other players also playing the game, which might be a bit distracting when you're in the zone. You'll be hopping in between pipes as usual, but your bird will even transform after earning a set amount of points. If you're a major Flappy Bird fan, you shouldn't miss out on Flap. 2. Deep.io. In Deep, You play as a tank and fire at other tanks and shapes around the map. It's pretty simple, and there's no learning curve when you play. Basically, the more tanks and shapes you shoot, the more points you learn. Use your accumulated points to upgrade your tank and unleash more firepower. Take note that you also have your own health to look after. Bumping into other objects or getting hit by other players will damage your vehicle, and it's game over once you run out of health in this IO game. 1. Vertix.io. Vertix.io is a third-person shooter game set in a small, maze-like map. There are different objectives per area, but you'll mainly be focusing on taking down enemies. All you have to do is just aim and shoot with your mouse, and fights are fast-paced and thrilling as you zoom in and out of the hallways. You can unlock different classes and guns the longer you play, so Vertix is really an IO game you should sink some time in.